Good afternoon, law school faculty and administration, families and friends, members of the class of 2015. I'm Eduardo Peñalver, the Alan R. Tesler Dean of the Cornell Law School. And today is a very special day for all of us, obviously especially for our graduates. But on this Mother's Day, it's also a special day for moms. We have many mothers here with us today in our graduating class, among our faculty, and of course in the audience. So before we begin, let's take a moment to give all of them a round of applause in gratitude for everything they've done for us. So the class of 2015 will always hold a very special meaning for me because this is the first class to graduate since I became dean last July. And thank you. You guys are an easy crowd. I love it. I became dean and you're graduating during a time of great ferment in both the legal profession and in the legal academy. And despite that ferment, you've made a wise choice, investing both your time and money in the study of law and in doing so here at Cornell. The crisis that began in 2008 caused legal employers to pull back in fear, and the classes that graduated, even from the very best law schools, especially in 2011 and 2012, suffered as a result. And in the years since 2008, many legal employers have begun to adjust their business models, outsourcing some work, relying on temporary contract attorneys for others. And as a result, even as profits in the legal sector have rebounded, hiring has not fully returned to pre-crisis levels. Consequently, you, the class of 2015, faced a demanding job market. But because of Cornell's small size, the excellence of our student body, and the dedication of our career service and public service offices, this graduating class has achieved superb employment results. It's already clear that the class of 2015, like the class of 2014 before you, will achieve a level of job placement success with large private law firms, judges, government agencies, nonprofits, and other legal employers that marks Cornell Law School as one of the very best in the country. For the class of 2014, our final placement results 10 months after graduation, excluding any law school-funded positions, ranked us second among law schools nationwide. And we expect very similar results for your class by this time next year. But we are not complacent. We take seriously our obligation to ensure that each of our students has a job, and we are constantly seeking ways to improve our performance. Our goal every year is 100% employment. What these placement numbers demonstrate is that in uncertain times such as these, it is more important than ever to be graduating from a law school that has a national reach, that is correctly perceived by employers to count among the very best in the country. A school whose graduates are known by those same employers to be smart, hardworking, and unpretentious. I think I know just such a law school. In part because of the job market, your time in law school has been marked by a drumbeat of criticism of both law schools and the legal profession. And if anything, that criticism has grown even louder during your 3 years here. Lurking beneath at least some of these critiques seems to be a broad skepticism about law and about the work of lawyers. In our modern information economy, entrepreneurship is king, and law and lawyers can all too easily come to seem like little more than wasteful transaction costs, parasitic friction that dissipates creative energy and slows the speed of innovation. For some, the law itself is a kind of incumbent technology that needs disruption. Frustrated by taxi medallion regulations that prevent you from hailing a car on the street? There's an app for that. Uber, or Lyft if you prefer cars with pink mustaches. Annoyed by the high price of hotel rooms due to onerous hotel licensing requirements? There's an app for that. Airbnb. need to engage in dozens of quick mortgage transfers in order to create complex mortgage-backed securities, but stymied by the long periods of time it takes to record mortgages in the county land recording office? There's an app for that too. The Mortgage Electronic Registration System, known as MERS. I'm not sure about that last one. But despite these wonders that entrepreneurs have created, the practice of law remains important and vital. A stable, well-functioning legal system is crucial to our ability to maintain a free society, the kind of society in which people are empowered to think and to act differently, to innovate. John Rawls argued that the rule of law constitutes the grounds upon which persons can rely on one another and rightly object when those expectations are not fulfilled. If the bases of these claims are unsure, he said, so are the boundaries of our liberties. Far from necessarily constituting something that gums up the works, law is crucial, both to freedom and to innovation. It's the soil in which both grow. You can't develop the next killer app if you have to spend all your time worrying about being killed. Now, it's surely true that laws and regulations can be wasteful or become outdated, but the inertia of state actors can needlessly impair our freedom or block useful innovation. But sometimes when the law keeps us from doing what we want, it's for a good reason that we need to take heed of. Sometimes it's innovation that needs to be disrupted. The inscription in our moot courtroom says, quoting Harvard Law Dean Roscoe Pound, "The law must be stable, yet it cannot stand still." And how do we as a society know when to favor stability, when to favor innovation? This is a crucial question, often the crucial question, and it's the lawyer's privileged role in answering this question that makes the practice of law simultaneously so challenging and so rewarding. What is the essence of marriage? Should computers be allowed to drive cars? Is a burrito a sandwich? When society needs answers to vital questions like these, it inevitably turns to our profession. And wherever questions like these are being answered, you will find Cornell lawyers hard at work. Okay, hopefully not on the burrito question. And so I admire you for choosing the legal profession, notwithstanding the critics. And I thank you for choosing to spend your 3 years here with us. I think you chose wisely in both respects, in becoming lawyers and in coming to Cornell. And you chose wisely in coming to Cornell because Cornell Law School stands out from the crowd, even among top law schools. We stand out not only because we're an elite school that excels in placing our students in the highest reaches of the legal profession. Every top law school claims to do the same. We happen to do a little better, but every top law school claims to do the same. No, what makes Cornell unique is that we combine that commitment to excellence with an equally strong commitment to inclusion. And this tradition goes back to the very beginning. In his earliest vision for Cornell University, A.D. White, the co-founder of the university with Ezra Cornell and Cornell University's first president, wrote in 1862 that he wanted this university, at whose heart he always envisioned a law school, to provide the most highly prized instruction to all, regardless of sex or color. So it comes as no surprise, although it remains inspiring, that Cornell Law School's first graduating class included George Washington Fields, a man born in slavery. Professor Kevin Claremont rediscovered Fields' history, painstakingly researched his life, and published a book entitled The Indomitable George Washington Fields, which is available on Amazon. Fields is an incredible man, and I encourage you to read Professor Claremont's book. My favorite part concerns how Fields found his way to Cornell Law School. After escaping from slavery with his mother in 1863, he made his way north. And by 1881, he found himself working for Alonzo Cornell, who was then the governor of New York and is a son of Ezra Cornell. When Fields told Alonzo that he wanted to go to law school and had settled on Yale, Alonzo convinced him to go to the Cornell Law School instead. But there was just one problem. The Cornell Law School did not yet exist. The school opened its doors 23 years after the rest of the university. But rather than go to Yale, George Washington Fields waited for the Cornell Law School to open its doors and was in the first graduating class. He was right here with the inaugural class who began studying law at Cornell in 1887. Fields' class also included a couple of students who had somehow managed to find their way to upstate New York from Meiji, Japan. And this same law school went on to produce 4 female editors-in-chief of its law review before any other top law school produced even one. The first of these, Mary Donlin, was the editor-in-chief of Volume 5 of what was then called the Cornell Law Quarterly. As documented by our own Professor Cynthia Bowman, she went on to become the first woman partner at a Wall Street law firm. She ran for Congress, a race she came within a whisker of winning, and she became Cornell University's first woman trustee. She was also instrumental in founding Cornell's College of Industrial and Labor Relations. So this is who we are. And we are absolutely unique among top law schools in this regard. Cornell has, from its founding, been a place that seeks to be elite without being elitist. As Professor Isaac Kramnick of Cornell's government department has memorably put it, Cornell is an Ivy League university with a Big Ten soul. And we're proud to participate in this Cornell tradition here at the law school. During your time at Cornell, we have consistently ranked as one of the most, if not the most, diverse top law schools in the country. Finally, you chose wisely for another reason as well. In addition to our commitment to excellence and inclusion, Cornell Law School is a place characterized by an incomparable sense of community. Our small size and our rural location mean that Cornell is a law school where people show up. Faculty are in their offices even when they're not teaching. Students hang around after classes end. As a result, we get to know you, and just as importantly, you get to know one another. I speak from experience in this regard. While I was a student here, I met my wife at Cornell. My brother met his wife while he was a student here at Cornell. You may not have met your spouse during your 3 years here. But I'm confident that each of you has made a friend or many friends who you will treasure for the rest of your lives. And so the Cornell Law School community of which you have become a part will remain with you long after this day. Your connection to Cornell Law School, to this community, is a permanent one. To paraphrase Michael Corleone and Tony Soprano, just when you think you're getting out, we start to pull you back in. Or to be more accurate, you start to pull each other back in. And so from this day going forward, you are and always will be Cornell lawyers.